Hi all. So I hope you have been able to find some value from our introductory video. Now, I thought about showing it to you on real-time charts, how you could have a look at the trends, the levels that you could mark, the levels that you could watch out, how to do a top-down analysis, and as well as some significant levels that I'm watching out for tomorrow in Nifty, ICICI and Axis Bank. So let's move ahead and see the way to see. Thank you. So this is the 1 day time frame. Okay. So in the 1 day time frame, when I'm looking at the chart of ICICI, it is looking like it's in a bearish trend. So we'll do a top down analysis now. Okay. So next what I can do. So I can actually mark
the levels.
Yeah, I could just extend a trend line like this. So this looks good.
Yes, sir.
This is testing these highs. These highs are being respected. I extend it down. Yeah, it looking correct. Okay, like being respected. Now one more trend line can actually be drawn connecting the lows like this. Can I do that?
Oh, okay, sir.
So this is also kind of looking like being respected.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now I will kind of come into the shorter time frame. So see, if I want to mark a horizontal level over here,
Yes, sir.
I'll just try checking out for a horizontal level too. Horizontal line. Okay. So I could actually extend the line like this. This is holding as a resistance. Okay, I could extend the line like this. Now let me get into the shorter time frame. First I'll get into the 1 hour time frame. So the 1 hour time frame, I just realized for myself, yeah, the price is actually being respected within these levels. Okay, and this horizontal level is also looking good. Okay, it is being tested again. It is looking good. Now I'll get into the shorter time frame. The 15 minutes is something more specific can be observed.
Okay, sir.
So this is how the charts look in the 15 minutes time frame for ICICI Bank. 15 minutes time frame.
Okay.
So this looks like a good level. If this level is getting taken out, we can expect the price to make a good drop. And it seems like the next level would look somewhere over here. So 554, 539 looks like the next level.
Yes.
The next somewhere over here looks like the next level. Now even if this level is also capable of being broken, further downside fall can be expected towards the, I guess the next support is going to be at the lower trend line.
Okay.
So that is what we realize over here in the case of ICICI Bank. Okay, so that is if this level is actually getting broken, I expect the price to come down to the next level, which lies somewhere at 539.
Okay.
And if price is capable of managing to pierce below this, probably the 530, 531 could be the next level for the stock ICICI. Okay. So that is what we see by having a look from the top. Like we start off with the 1 day, then we're getting into the 1 hour, then into the 15 minutes. So this looks like the good levels for ICICI banks. So let's have a look at something else. Let's quickly have a look at the next bank. Okay, let's have a look at Axis. Okay.
That's also same sideways.
Looks almost similar. Axis and ICICI, yeah, mostly they kind of actually move in a similar manner. So in the 1 day time frame, so not just ICICI Bank or Axis Bank, almost every single stock is in some sort of a bearish sentiment in the month of March.
Okay, sir.
From the month of March onwards, almost every single stock is in some sort of a bearish sentiment. So let me specifically have a look at Axis. So this is the 1 day time frame.
Okay, sir.
Now this 1 day time frame, I see that it's looking bearish.
Yes, sir.
I could actually just connect the trend lines. So here too I could actually extend some trend lines. Okay, this looks bad. That's not a good way to do. So I'll do something. I'll start off from the, I'll kind of actually have a look at the horizontal levels first. Okay. So in this particular case, the horizontal level, I could actually mark a level over here.
Okay.
This is like actually 30 rupees away from the current price, somewhat far. Okay, and I could identify a level over here. So this also could act as a good support for the stock. Okay, good support for the stock Axis. Now, if this level is getting taken out, can I expect the price to come down to the next level? So next level is like somewhere over here, 593.
Oh, okay.
See in the 1 day time frame, daily time frame, if I see, this looks like a good level. The 597, 598 levels.
Yes, sir.
This level is getting taken out. I feel that yeah, this could act as a good level.
Good.
So next I'll get into the 1 hour time frame, and let me just see for myself the levels within that could actually hold good. So 1 hour time frame, I'll just have to zoom out a bit. Okay, so 1 hour time frame, yeah, these levels are kind of holding.
Okay, sir.
Obviously it should hold because we started off on the 1 day. Let me get into the 15 minutes. So when I get into the 15 minutes, I just figure out for myself for the very same stock axis, I could probably say that the price could actually find some sort of a support over here too.
Yes, sir.
643.
Support.
Why? Because earlier also it was being tested. So I could say that price could actually find some sort of a support over here. So initially it was acting some sort of a support, then dropped down, faced a rejection, came down,
Okay,
picked up, found a support over here.
over
So
here
it
and
found
here
a
support.
resistance over here. So here it is once again finding a
Yes,
support.
support.
So 643. So if 643 is managed to be taken out, could expect some
630.
moves towards the 630 levels. Okay, but these are just we're kind of actually just trying to identify some price points within which the price could actually travel.
Okay, sir.
So right now, all the speculation is on the bearish side
Yes, sir.
because of Corona. All these things like speculation is actually on the bearish side. So
Okay.
data is also looking bearish. Fine. So this we did top-down analysis on two different stocks.
Oh, yes, sir.
So let's take out an exercise where we are analyzing levels on Nifty. Okay. So let's start off from the larger time frame. That is a 1 day time frame. Okay. So 1 day time frame, like how does the trend in Nifty look like? This is looking bearish. Okay. Like entire thing is looking bearish. Now I could actually mark some trend lines over here. So trend lines, I just will explain this further. Don't worry. So you can mark or extend some trend lines over here, connecting these lows. Okay. Now on the top part also I could connect. I could kind of connect and extend these. You could actually extend something like this. Okay. And do you think that we have marked this for the first time right now?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Actually, no. Okay, I'll tell you why. Yeah, so I
yesterday-
have, yeah. So these are levels that we have actually been observing quite some good time. Okay. So I'll just show you like why levels that you mark earlier will be respected later on also.
Okay, sir.
So we have been watching out for this for some good time. Yeah. So this is the sorry, this is ICICI Bank. Okay. So ICICI Bank we were checking out for this. Okay. Now let's take for Nifty. Yeah. So you see the Nifty was kind of actually respecting these trend lines much earlier also.
Okay, sir.
Right? It is respecting these trend lines earlier also. So now when we mark, so here also it is kind of actually being respected. Okay, we see that yeah, the trend lines are being respected over here too.
Okay, sir.
Now this is the 1 day time frame. So if I want to mark okay, so this is the trend line. I'll explain trend line a bit more. I'll explain trend line later.
Okay, sir.
But can I mark a support level over here? So I could mark a support over here. Price is finding some sort of a support over here.
Oh, support.
Yeah.
Sir.
So price is finding some sort of a support over here. Then I just realized for myself, this is acting as a trend line. This is finding a support over here. So later on, right now also today, the 14,200 levels have been tested, right? The 14,200. So this 14,200 level that has been tested today. So this was a level that got tested sometime back, right?
Okay.
So today it got tested. Last day also the same level got tested. Monday also it got tested. So which means that yeah, it is actually being validated. The levels that I'm marking is being validated again and again. So I see that 14,200 is a good level for Nifty. So I'll get into the other time frame. I'll get into a shorter time frame, the 1 hour. So in the 1 hour time frame also I could actually see yeah, these levels are kind of looking good. And if I look at a bigger picture, okay, so yeah, the price is being confined within the range.
Right.
So let's get into a shorter 15 minutes time frame. So here too, yeah, here too the levels are being tested. Okay, see whatever you mark in the larger time frame would actually be respected in the smaller time frame also.
Okay, sir.
So it's not a big thing because larger time frame is a bigger version and this is the shorter version. So they will be respected in a smaller time frame.
Okay, sir.
I see it's being respected over here. Now now there is a trend line. There's kind of a trend line at almost 14,170 levels. So if this level is getting taken out, there's a trend line also that has to be pierced. And after that, the next support for Nifty would actually stay somewhere at where? So next significant support looks like somewhere at 13,800, right?
Yes, sir.
So if Nifty is capable of piercing below this level, then I could say that price could actually manage to pierce and fall down to the next level, which lies somewhere at 13,850. You get the logic. Why? Because this is a support that is being validated. If this manages to break, you can expect the price to move towards the next level. Fine. So this is what we have actually just tried doing in the chart of Nifty.
Okay, sir.
And let's actually have a look at ICICI Bank. So ICICI Bank is one stock where we kind of did a live trade today, right? So ICICI Bank also, like, the concepts and all are pretty much the same. So we'll start off with the larger time frame. So the 1 day time frame. So for the shorter duration of time, the stock looks with a bearish bias. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I get into the 1 hour time frame. Sorry, in the 1 day time frame. Okay. So if I get into the 1 hour time frame, so I just realized, I just figure out for myself that this was one good level. Next support was over here. So these levels has been marked with 15 minutes. That's why we don't see it clearly. So you see that there is some sort of a good support over here for the price.
Yes, sir.
Last day itself, okay. Last day itself there was a good support. So this is a level that has been tested earlier too. Okay, here. So we see that many times the support is being validated. Now I just wanted to tell you that I didn't kind of zoom in and see if this is passing through the wick or the end of the body, something like that. Rather, I just kind of plotted a point where I feel, yeah, it looks good from where multiple times rejection is taking place. Okay, so no trend lines were used in this case. It was purely horizontal levels we use in this case. Let's move ahead and take a look at the 5 minutes chart. Okay, so in the 5 minutes chart, now the rationale we had is, okay, Bank Nifty had a gap up, Nifty had a gap up. We were expecting some sort of a gap filling move to take place, and we thought that, okay, we'll go for a short. Okay, we went for a short at 568.2. Okay, we went for a short at 568.2, and our perspective was that, yeah, Bank Nifty, if it's dropping, Bank Nifty is actually filling in the gap. Bank Nifty is dropping down, so we could actually go for a short with our entry somewhere over here, and with our stop loss something like a 5 point stop loss, somewhere at 573 our stop loss, and we can go for a short at 568.2. Okay, so what is our rationale, or what is the logic that we are looking out for? So we are thinking about going for a short somewhere over here.
Okay, sir.
Okay, with our stop loss somewhere over here. Why? Because our expectation is that if price manages to break below, okay, if price manages to break below, so at that particular point of time, HDFC Bank, all these things were dropping. So we got some confluence from there also. So if price is managing to break below, if price is dropping further, we could easily expect the gap to get filled, because this is where the next level is. Okay, this is where the next level is, and our target was over here. Why? Because this is also a good level. Okay, this also looks like a good level to this particular point. So we actually, and that is where one more very important thing is there. That is where our risk reward ratios will also be satisfied. Just explain about that in detail as we move forward. Okay, so you see that this level gets taken out. So after some time the level gets tested. Okay, after some time the price kind of just tests the level once again, then it takes a drop and falls. Okay, so today's initial market hours were very slow. The initial morning market hours were actually pretty much slow in nature. Fine. So you get the basic sense of understanding how levels play, or what is the importance of levels. Okay, Now I'll also be showing the live trade video.
Okay, sir.
I'll show you the live trade video also, so that you get to know how the candles are forming step by step
Okay, sir.
during that point of time. Okay. Okay. So this is a chart of ITC. Okay. So what we realize over here in this case, in this chart over here, is that ITC really doesn't have any sort of a trend right now. So when we are looking at the 1 day time frame, it is looking sideways.
Okay, sir.
Or I could say that the stock ITC is actually being confined within a range like this. It's kind of like not moving anywhere. It is not moving up. It is not falling down. It's kind of looking sideways.
Yes.
Okay. So that is what we understand by having a look at ITC chart. Over the last from 2021 onwards, it's kind of pretty much confined within this range. Let's have a look at a different stock. Let's have a look at Reliance.
Yes.
So I'm speaking with respect to the 1 day time frame.
Okay, sir.
Let me show you the chart of Reliance. So in the case of Reliance right now, so what do you think regarding Reliance?
That's
So talking about Reliance, okay. See, if I see this if I kind of actually start from here, so I see that the market looks sideways, okay. But if I'm specifically looking at the month of March, okay, if I kind of ask you, how has Reliance been behaving in the month of March? So what would you
That's
say?
also sideways.
No, in the month of March, if I specifically ask, like it looks bearish.
That's
It's kind of actually looking bearish. It looks like in a downtrend if I specifically look in the month of March. But if I check out the entire thing, like if I have a look at Reliance, from last, I could kind of say that from almost last November onwards. After November onwards, it's kind of actually staying confined within a range. Okay, that is from November 2020 onwards. Reliance is not moving anywhere.
So-
It's kind of actually staying pretty much confined within this range. Okay, so now we realize that it is not just it is actually not just one particular period that we could look into, but if we look at different periods, we see that the trend is different. For example, Reliance itself, if I kind of check out Reliance chart, from November onwards it's looking pretty much sideways. But if I specifically look into the month of March, okay, if I specifically look into the month of March, especially after March 14th, Reliance share has been dropping down. It is in a bearish trend. Okay, now I could get into the 1 hour time frame and observe things in a bit more. Okay. Yeah, so if I get into the 1 hour time frame, I realize for myself, yeah, the stock Reliance is in some sort of a bearish trend. So it's forming a low, high, forms a lower low, high. Yeah, and over here it kind of just formed a higher high, but this is not confirmation. Yeah, this is kind of actually not something like this is not sustaining. This higher high is not continuing, rather it is forming further lows and it is actually dropping down. So somebody who looks at the chart of Reliance in the 1 hour time frame, they could say that the stock is in some sort of a bearish phase or is looking bearish. Okay. Now what if I get into the 15 minutes time frame? So what if I get into the 15 minutes time frame now? So in the 15 minutes time frame, what I realize for myself is so 15 minutes time frame, if I check the last 2-3 days, if I'm just checking all the last 2 days, I see yeah, Reliance is once again sideways in a sideways phase last two days. Okay, so over here also, yeah, the stock has been in some sort of a sideways sentiment. This particular day I'm checking, it is looking bearish. So today, if I'm seeing, so today 20th, so today also Reliance is looking bearish. Now what if I get into the 5 minutes? So 5 minutes trend will also be almost similar. So stock is actually looking pretty much sideways. Or kind of actually looking pretty much range bound. So what I just wanted to tell you is, like, when we check out different periods of time, the kind of observation that we are going to get related to the trend would actually be different. Would be different. Okay, but it is important that first we get from the larger time frame. You start off with from the larger time frame, then we get down into the smaller time frame. So that will help us get a better understanding of what the big picture is or what the overall trend is. So if we see that in the larger time frame the trend is down, so it is better that we check out for short opportunities when we get a downside trend in the shorter time frame. In this, okay, so let's start doing a top down analysis on ICSA. Okay, so first let's start on the 1 day time frame. Okay, so how does the trend look like in the 1 day time frame? So how does the trend look like in the 1 day time frame when we are specifically having a look in the month of March, April? So looks like a downtrend, right? So I realized that in the 1 day time frame, the trend is actually looking bearish. Okay. So now let's get into the shorter time frame, the 1 hour time frame. Okay. So in the 1 hour time frame, how does the trend look? We see that, okay, we can see a better picture, a better
Bullish.
yeah,
Bearish.
it's kind of in a downside moment.
Downside.
Like the moment is still downside, and
Sideways market.
yeah, and we can actually mark some levels. Like just remove this, looks too cluttered. Just show you like some of the levels that we were observing for the day. Okay, so now I just realized, so in the case of ICICI, I just managed to realize that we see that the stock is finding some sort of a support over here, right? These two levels look like a support. We'll discuss support further, but generally speaking, I realize, yeah, price is finding some sort of rejection from this or some sort of a support over here. Now I'll get into the shorter time frame. Okay, that is after 1 hour, I'll get into the 15 minutes time frame, and let's just figure out for myself how is the sentiment in the 15 minutes time frame. I'm getting into the 15 minutes time frame. So what do we realize? So in the 15 minutes time frame, like if I'm just checking out today, like the day specifically, it is still in a we had some sort of a gap up.
And
then we see that the gap actually got filled. Gap gets filled and is some sort in a bearish phase, in a bearish sentiment itself today too.
Yes.
Okay, so it's in a bearish sentiment after undergoing some sort of a gap up opening. So what do I realize? So I just realized for myself that the stock is looking bearish in the 1 day, in the 1 hour, as well as in the 15 minutes time frame. So that is my check. So based upon a top down analysis or a top down approach, I figure out for myself the sentiment is actually looking weak. The stock is looking weak when I'm starting from the larger time frame and getting down to the shorter time frame.
Okay,
so it is always better that I check out for short opportunities on the stock, and that is exactly what we did today morning also. The same, right? We had done a short. Why? Because the sentiment was actually looking bearish over here. Now let's have a look at a different stock. Let's check out Tata Motors.
Tata Motors give yesterday profit as well.
Tata Motors, we can trade on Tata Motors. So Tata Motors in the 1 day time frame. In the 1 day time frame, the stock is actually looking sideways. Okay, so I don't see any sort of a clear sentiment over here in the 1 day time frame. But let me just get into the 1 hour time frame, see if something specific can be understood. So 1 hour time frame is also looking pretty confused. Okay, I really don't see any sort of a significant trend out of this. Looking pretty confused. Like one day it is picking up, the other day is falling down. We really don't see any sentiment, any clear trend over here. Now I'll try having a look at the next, that is the 15 minutes. So in the 15 minutes, so that is today's specific day, like some sort of a gap up. Then the gap gets filled in as majority of the time it happens. So gap actually gets filled in, but later on nothing much is happening. Gap is actually getting filled. So today the sentiment is actually looking bearish. Today the stock is actually looking bearish. So my question to you is, which would be better? Checking out for a short opportunity on a stock that is in a bearish sentiment in the 1 day time frame, in the 1 hour time frame and the 15-minute time frame, or a stock that is just showing a bearish sentiment in the 15 minutes. So it will actually be better that we check out for short opportunities where the broader term trend is also on the downside.
Okay, sir.
That is ICICI Bank. So that is the specific reason why we were keen on shorting ICICI Bank and not Tata Motors, because we kind of actually saw that the broader term trend was also on the downside in the case of ICICI. Okay, the broader term trend was also actually bearish in the case of ICICI Bank as compared to Tata Motors. So we were keen on shorting this stock rather than Tata Motors. So this is how we did a top-down analysis to just figure out for ourselves what are the broader term trend is, and then we kind of decided on entering a position based upon the broader term trend.